Hi guys, welcome to my channel. To my returning subscribers, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. Do make yourself comfortable. Feel free to stick around for as long as you want to. I don't know what could have possibly brought you here, because on my channel I talk about a whole lot of things. I talk about real estate, I talk about myself, I talk about my interests, and just a whole bunch of things. But on today's video, I am just going to be giving a bit of a seminar on the things to look out for when purchasing a property, questions to ask, things to demand, things that are important to focus on, and the things that aren't really that important. So yeah, stick around, it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you have been looking, if you've been in the market for a while, if you've had your eye out on certain properties, this video is for you. If you are thinking in the future you are going to be interested in buying but not exactly right now, stick around, because this is very important information to have. Some of these things are things that I wish I had known before I made my own investments, and some of the things I'm going to talk about are things that I'm just learning as I go, and information that I'm sharing with other people, and things that as a real estate agent I'd want to sort of have a conversation with my potential buyer with, just so that they know what they're getting themselves into as well. Because as much as it's important for me to make a sale as an agent, it's also important as a black child to know that I am not getting someone in a situation that's just gonna strangle them in the future, and something that's just gonna overwhelm them. So that's very important to me. I want to make a sale, yes, but I also want to make sure that my clients are investing in something that is suitable and ideal and fits with what they're looking for and what they want to get out of an investment. So there's obviously a whole lot of things that you should know before you buy a home, especially if it's a home that is financed. 20 years is a very long time, so that's a very huge commitment that you're making, and it's not something that you should take for granted, because it's just such a big deal. So getting finance that will put you in a contract for that many years of your life, like almost half of your life, is a very big deal. So you want to make sure that you have all the information, that you've done your research, and that you're working with an agent that is looking out for you as well, and they have your interest at heart. So I would say the most basic thing that you should do before buying anything, before putting an offer on anything, is to do proper, thorough research on the area, on the complex, and on the city. So every agent knows, or should know, how the market has been responding to the property that you're interested in. Say, for example, you want to buy something in Pretoria North, for example. So there is a report that focuses on your complex, whether the market is declining, going up, what's happening with that. And there's also reports available for the area as a whole. So before you put your name on any contract, you should ask for a report that will show you what the value of your property has been over the years, what the properties that are in the same complex that you're looking into buying have sold for over the years. Because you obviously, well, there are people that buy to sell, but even if you're not, you want to know that whenever you are ready to sell, you're not going to sell for anything lower than what you've bought for. You're not going to make a loss, and you're just going to make profit. Should you also inject capital onto the property, make some changes, maybe redecorate, or whatever you feel like you're doing, you should know that whatever capital that you're going to invest on it, plus what you have spent on purchasing it, when you are ready to sell, you're not going to be making a loss. So that's a very important foundational information that you should have. So you should ask for a Lightstone report or a CMA report. Do not make the mistake of buying a property without having asked first for these reports. That's number one. That's like the most basic thing, because as a human being or as a person that's just interested in something, you can look at it and assume that it has a certain value, or you could look at the price and assume that it has a certain value, but the market as a whole, when you put everything together, could not be saying that. So you need to see like proper numbers, because numbers don't lie. Numbers will indicate to you whether the price that the property is being sold to you for corresponds with how the market has been responding to it and how they've previously sold in the past. That's number one. And in my opinion, another thing to inquire about is, when a property is being advertised on Property 24 or on private property or wherever you could have seen it, they will give you all the figures. They'll let you know how much it's been sold for. They'll let you know how much the rates are. They'll let you know how much the levies are. They'll let you know how much you need to earn, how much the monthly repayments are going to be. They're going to give you all that information. Okay, so that's there. But if you are going to put an offer on a property, you are well within your rights to request these documents. So if I'm trying to sell my property and someone wants to see the rates or the rate statements, or wants to see the levy statements, I should be able to provide that. Obviously, I'm not going to be providing for anyone that just asks. I need to see that you are a serious buyer, that you qualify for the property, that you've put an offer on it, whatever I'm going to use to make that decision. But if I'm a serious buyer and I want to see your rates and I want to see your levies, and you feel some type of way about it, even though I have done everything that I need to do and I've provided everything that I need to provide in order for you to feel like, okay, this person qualifies and they are a serious buyer, but you still don't want to provide those things for me, I'm going to think, okay, maybe you're not being truthful about how you're advertising your property, and these are the costs that are going to come with the property. So always ask to see the rate statements and just make sure that it corresponds with how the property is being advertised. Always ask to see the levy statements. Now, they're not going to show it to you because you inquired. There has to be there has to be a level of seriousness that you've shown in order for these documents to be provided to you. But yeah, if you are serious about a property in particular, then I would suggest that you also ask for these documents and just hope that they are willing to provide them to you. And if they're not, I don't know, you're just gonna have to use your judgment there and just see if there's just something dodgy, or maybe they're just not okay with sharing their documents with you. And the third thing that, in my opinion, is very important to remember is to read your contract. That actually should have been the first, because child, I wish there was a mountain that's high enough so I could just grab the world's largest microphone and scream this, because it's that important. Read your contract. If there's anyone around you that you trust to advise you well enough and trust to understand what your contract entails, or even like go as far as having a professional go through it and give you professional advice, because yeah, it's a contract. I don't think I need to explain any more than I have. But yeah, things like your rate and everything, all the terms and conditions that are stated there, every single bit of information is important, and it affects you, it affects your life, it affects the next 20 years of your life, 30 years of your life, 10 years of your life, depending on the term that you've gotten. But don't just be excited to be getting a home loan. Don't just be excited to be qualifying for the home that you want, so much so that you don't even go through what you need to go through in a way that you should go through it. That is a very important piece of document, and you should know what's happening. You should know the consequences of you not being able to pay. You should know what will happen to you should certain things arise. You should know what effects the changes in the interest rates will be on you. You should know every single thing, you should know the terms and conditions of your contract. You should also know that whatever term that you get from, say maybe you've gotten an offer that you like, you do have the option to renegotiate. So don't just think, okay, well, I finally have a home loan, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this home. No, negotiate. Always negotiate. Always make sure that you're getting the best part of the deal. Negotiate your home loan, negotiate the price of the property, negotiate everything that you can negotiate on. Okay? So, and you're not going to be able to do this if you haven't gone through your contract carefully and thoroughly. So allow yourself enough time to stay with your contract before resubmitting it, to go through it, to renegotiate, and to just make sure that it works for you as well, and you're not shooting yourself in the foot just because you are excited to move into your new home. The fourth thing that I think is really important for potential homeowners to know is if the investment that they are making and the complex that they are going to be living in or investing in has a body corporate, and you want to know what the body corporate is doing to maintain the building. You want to know how the body corporate has been acting over the years, what they've done, what they've accomplished, and what they've not accomplished, who the body corporate is, who the trustees are. So always have this conversation with your agents. Find out the information of the trustees. If I am investing in a property, I want to know that amongst the trustees there is, number one, transparency. If trustees are not willing and able to provide the information to potential investors, then that's kind of a red flag to me, because what are you hiding? I need to know that there's diversity. I need to know that there's black, white, yellow, pink, orange, everything in there. If it's like all, it's like, do I really want that drama? And this is a real conversation to have, because these type of issues have real consequences. So I want to invest onto something that I know there is representation of self, that there is diversity, that there is transparency, and that there's just generally a healthy relationship between the trustees and the body corporate and the tenants and everyone that lives there. So if there's been issues for years, if the trustees are some people that have never even set foot in the building, they don't care about the interests of the tenants, they don't care about the interests of the people that live there, that's a red flag for me. So, and I know that I am providing a lot of information, and if you're just excited about buying something, this might sort of put you off. But yeah, this is your home, and whether you acknowledge it or not, it will affect the most part of your life. Like, you are literally it's like getting into a marriage. Honestly, I feel like I always say, when people tell me about how because I don't have kids and I don't understand like a lot of things, having a home is like having a kid. I'll tell you that. I'm not even kidding. Like, owning a home is like having a kid, because when you're a tenant, you can easily just call up your landlord and be like, hey, there's this and this happening. But when you're the owner, everything is up to you. Like, if the wall breaks, you need to fix it. If you need to repaint, it's on you. Like, you can't call anyone for it. Every expense that is related to the property is related to you, and every benefit that's related to the property comes to you. So honestly, in my opinion, I feel like, yes, I don't know how much kids' school fees are and all of that, but I know how much my baby needs. So honestly, don't underestimate the seriousness of buying a home. It's a really, really, really big deal, and everything that I'm sharing with you, it's things that you really should know, and really things that you should go over before making that decision, because you don't want to get yourself into something that 2 years later, 5 years later, you completely regret. So yeah, hopefully someone will take everything that I'm saying. You also want to know what investment opportunities you have in that complex, whether there's certain restrictions as to what you can do, what you cannot do, what type of listing you can do, what type of listing you cannot do. Because I know for me, I'm also in the Airbnb business, so if I'm investing onto an estate or a complex, I need to know that they allow me to do whatever business that I want to do, even if you don't want to do it then. But it's always better to just know that should the need arise, should the interest arise, you do have that option, as opposed to knowing that you are completely restricted and you're not going to be able to do that even if you wanted to. There's also a complex that I am doing an Airbnb at. So there, the rule is, if you want to do an Airbnb situation, they have their own management team that they've created to run Airbnbs. So you can't do an Airbnb on your own. You need to pay them a certain amount of money to do Airbnb, and you need to pay them a certain commission that they run the Airbnb for you. So in my opinion, that's like daylight robbery, because this is my home. I should decide what happens with this home. You can't control me. You can't tell me that I am forced to give you business. And this also goes back to knowing the type of relationship that trustees have with the homeowners, because these are things that you should know. If you're a homeowner and you've purchased property at that type of place with that type of setup, it's very frustrating, because you're the owner. You're the owner. That means you have full rights to do with that property what you want, and no one should come to you and tell you, hey, if you want to do this, you have to give us the business and we'll do it for you. Another piece of information that I think is very, very, very important to know is obviously security. Inquire about the security, what levels they've taken over the years, what has been implemented over the years, if there's any scandals that have occurred, like what is happening as it relates to the general security of the area. Are there cameras all around? What's the access system like? How does that work? It's just supposed to be generally a safe environment for everyone involved. So that's important as well. Obviously, some of these questions that you ask, you are just going to be getting answers because a sale has to be made and things should just chop be kept moving. But like I've said in the beginning of this video, numbers don't lie. So another thing that you can ask for that will help make your decision is to ask for the financials. Ask for the budget, so that you know what has happened over the years. Where is the money going? Is the money going towards bettering the building, or is the money going towards paying the property managers? Because you could have that. You could have a place that has very expensive levies, but no progress is happening, nothing is improving, because there's no money that's going towards maintenance. It's just money going towards the people that are managing the place. So it's just like maybe trustees and the property managers have whatever relationship, so it's just money coming from the owners going through the building and straight out into the managers. So ask for financials, ask for the budget, and make sure that you are not tying yourself up to a money laundering situation. That's very important. Very, very important. What else? I think for now that's pretty much it. If I think of something, I'll just do like another video, but I think for now that's it. I just felt compelled to do this because a lot of people go into home ownership and property investments without the proper knowledge and without having done the proper research, and just get themselves in very sticky situations that they are unable to get themselves out of. So if you also have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer as accurately, as truthfully as I can. And for now, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I appreciate it a lot. If you have, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for coming back. I will see you next time. Bye.